Hey, what's going on, my Orange Troopers? My name is Orange Bucket Play /VA, and today we are here with a well-wanted part 2. You guys seem to really enjoy the first one of these, but also, the link to the first video will be in the description down below. If you haven't watched it yet, I highly encourage you to watch that one before this one. So, let's get right into it, shall we? First up is the super water, or the super rarest water, or the superhuman water. So I just call it super water. It goes by a couple different names, but it's a water that dramatically increased Goku's base strength and allowed him to crack out of his shell and transform into a new level. So it is technically a transformation, so we'll be including it here. I just kind of felt like this counted as a transformation. Maybe it doesn't to you guys, but to me it does, so it belongs on this list. Next up comes from the video game Battle of Z, Dragon Ball Battle of Z. And in this game, we're given an interesting character, Sage Mode Goku. Yes, for this game there was a DLC pack that was a crossover betwixt this game and a Naruto game that was running along at the same time. And so there were two trade-offs. There was a Goku in Sage Mode and a Naruto in Goku's gi with the power pole. And I thought that was really cool, because think about it, Goku with one of Naruto's transformations, since Goku's all about transformations, and Naruto with one of Goku's weapons, since Naruto is a very weapon-based character and uses a lot of weapons, because Naruto has his staff and his pole, and, Goku has the power pole, so give him that, he'd be able to use it pretty well, and Goku with a new transformation to stack on top of Super Saiyan. Seems like a dope idea, right? But anyway, we also see him on top of one of the Toads, which I think is really cool because it is Toad Sage Mode that Goku's in. For all of you Naruto fans, it's that specific variant of Sage Mode. And in the game itself, in the official art, he's in base form, but in the game itself, he is a Super Saiyan. So we get to see Goku in base Sage Mode, and then to stack Super Saiyan on top of Sage Mode, which I think is a really cool thing. It's a cool little idea. They didn't really expand upon it in the game. It didn't have its own story or anything, and it hasn't impacted anything since. But initially, putting that in Battle of Z is a really cool idea. The idea of Goku and Naruto just switching abilities, like Naruto with the Power Pole and the Kaioken, and Goku with possibly, Sage Mode and all these other abilities that Naruto has, like the Rasengan, Naruto being able to use the Kamehameha Wave. To me, that is a really cool concept, and just the idea of maybe even them fusing would be incredible. So, this is cool to me. Moving on to the next one. And yeah, even though it's a transformation from another anime, it's a transformation, so it belongs on this list. But moving on. Now, these last few are where these things are really going to get interesting. So these last few are official transformations designed by Akira Toriyama, but they have not and never will be in the series because they're alternate versions of transformations that already exist. These are all original ideas and concepts and designs that were never used by Akira Toriyama. And this is really cool to me. We're getting to see a transformation or an idea that was never used, although it, to you, may be cooler or not as cool as what actually ended up being used. Now, to me, I think this looks really cool. So we have two alternate versions of Super Saiyan 3, two original designs for Super Saiyan 3. The first being the one on the left, which is a more Super Saiyan 2-like form, where Goku's hair spikes back all the way, and it does grow out a bit, and he does still lose the eyebrows, but it doesn't look anything like the Super Saiyan 3 that we know today. And the one next to it is even more interesting, because not only is the hair a lot spikier, very reminiscent of Goku and GT's Super Saiyan 3 hair. Or actually, it's more like Raditz's hair now that I look at it. And he also grows his tail, which is really interesting. So in this transformation, Goku would not only grow his tail back, or maybe, Toriyama had some kind of story plot where he'd grow his tail back, but all we know is that this is a Super Saiyan 3 design where Goku has his tail, and it would be gold as well. Now, I know it doesn't look perfect or that good either, but for the sake of basic idea, I have photoshopped what I think they would look like in the actual series. The one on the left being the first, the one on the right being the second. And I think that they could have worked, but ultimately Super Saiyan 3 being probably my favorite transformation aside from Super Saiyan 4, like, I legit love it. The way that it is, and I'm kind of glad that they didn't end up using these transformations. Although they would be interesting to be. It would be interesting if they brought them into the series as alternate variations of Super Saiyan 3. Like, how every Super Saiyan form has multiple grades. If maybe the grade. If maybe the grade 3 was the one with the tail. But nonetheless, as weird as it is, it still deserves a spot on this list. And speaking of Tails, what better place to go than the place where Tails are known to be the absolute best? Let's go to Dragon Ball GT. Super Saiyan 4 got a tail, and most of you won't be surprised to know this, but a few of you may be, so I decided to include it, because again, wasn't on the last list. Many of you will be very surprised to know that when Akira Toriyama designed Super Saiyan 4, his original concept for it, his original idea for Super Saiyan 4 was for it to be golden. He wanted it to be golden. Of course, he didn't directly design Super Saiyan 4 completely himself, and it went through changes, and ultimately, I like the red and black that it is, but I think I would like Super Saiyan 4 a lot more as it is on this picture on the right here. The orange eyes, the red underlines, the gold aura and hair and fur and tail. Oh my god, it's just immaculate. I love it. Like, this is giving me chills. He looks straight godly. But, speaking of godly, let's roll on over to Super Saiyan White, the ascension of Super Saiyan God. Oh, well, this has almost the exact same story as the last one. Well, originally, Akira Toriyama wanted Super Saiyan Blue to be Super Saiyan White. The aura would have been different and more lightning-based, and the hair itself would have been white. Very reminiscent of Zeus from Greek mythology. This was also why Frieza's form ended up being golden, because he wanted to have the tables turned. He wanted Frieza to have this poetic moment where he was like, oh, we've traded colors, we've traded places over the years. Now you are white, and I am the golden warrior. Now you are the white fool who's scared, and now I am the true golden warrior. However, I do kind of understand why they didn't go with that, because now that I've said that out loud, all that dialogue from Frieza saying white this, white that may come off as kind of racist, and of course Toriyama wanted to save the silver and white look for Ultra Instinct. He didn't want that to clash, nor did he want the colors of Goku and Vegeta to clash with Frieza's base form and or his golden form. So that's understandable. But enough about understandings. Do you know what's not understandable? Whatever the hell happened with this form. Okay, so like everyone remembers this. I've talked to multiple people before this episode and during the making of this episode, and this definitely happened. So this red form was shown on merchandise that came out around the tournament when the Tournament of Power began. Goku transformed into this form during the opening of the Tournament of Power, and the first anime arc trailer that came out. He used this form. We saw it in the show. We saw it on, boxes of candy. We saw it in these little figures that came out. And this form has not yet been shown in Dragon Ball. It has never been shown in Dragon Ball. It has not once appeared since then, and we do not know what happened to it. And no one has talked about this form or the reasons behind its just weird, strange appearance and disappearance. And, well, I feel like I'm going to be the first person to shed light on it, so I will. So what really happened with this form is that, first of all, Toriyama got the rights to the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie a little bit early and got really excited about it and wanted to get to working on it as soon as possible. So he did. And he also wanted everyone and himself to get started on Fighters and work on that. So it would be one of the best Dragon Ball games ever to further hype up the movie. And he also wanted, people to break off and work on Xenoverse more because people enjoyed it and they wanted to keep that alive. So they did. And Super got abandoned when they needed writers the most, so a lot of decisions were made hastily at the last minute. Like originally, Vegeta wasn't going to achieve his transformation, Super Saiyan Blue evolution. That wasn't going to be a thing. And it itself went through many design changes. Originally, it was going to be the grade 2 of Super Saiyan Blue, and now sometimes they claim that it is in fact that, and other times they claim it's a combination of God and Blue, which is odd, but like there's been multiple explanations of it thrown around, and it's weird. And Goku was given Ultra Instinct, and then they wanted to change the design of Ultra Instinct, so they introduced the concept of Mastered Ultra Instinct, but ultimately everyone liked both, so they just kept both in. Goku's transformations throughout this arc, as well as Vegeta's, were thrown around with multiple different ideas and not worked on by a big group of people or designed accurately like they normally would have been. So this design of, I guess, Ultra Instinct, or maybe it was never even meant to be Ultra Instinct to begin with, was left behind due to time constraints and possibly clashing with Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan 4 already being immensely popular red transformations. And maybe for fear that it may also clash with Jiren's dominantly red clothes and aura. And other longtime Dragon Ball fans like myself will immediately agree with me when I say that another reason Toriyama may have ditched this idea is because there are already forms that look too much like it, like the previously mentioned Super Saiyan 4 and Super Saiyan God, but also forms that came far before that, like Kaioken. The aura looks almost identical to that, and Super Kaioken. This form looks almost identical to that, which I covered in my last video. Watch it if you haven't already. Link in the description down below. Just saying. If you've watched this far and you haven't watched the first one, you should go watch it. You don't have to watch them in order, but, definitely go watch the last one because I cover way more in that one. But anyway, I digress. That is all of the forms for this video. Needless to say, here we are. We've seen some new Goku transformations that are unknown by most people, and I feel proud of myself. I've dug deep into the lore of Dragon Ball and discovered things that almost no other YouTubers talked about. That's pretty impressive. And this is a really cool original idea that I'm very thankful that I came up with and that you guys enjoy. Because again, no one else puts the effort into these videos that I do, I feel, and I'm glad that I do, and I'm more than happy to continue to do that for you guys. Next up, I'm probably going to do one on Vegeta, but fear not, I'm sure there are more Goku forms out there that I don't know about. I'm sure there are a lot of forms about a lot of other characters out there that I don't know about. I'm certain that at some point a new transformation will come out for Goku, and I'll have to stitch together a part 3, so don't worry, just chill. It'll come out soon, I promise. And in the meantime, there are plenty of other characters with transformations in Dragon Ball to deconstruct. So we're good. Stop panicking. You have content to watch, I promise. Also, here soon, the first episode of that podcast I talked about in the last part is going to be coming out, so watch out for that as well. I'm very excited for that. Hopefully we can make that a regular series, because a lot of you have been wanting me to make a podcast so I can just open up and be myself more often, because I know you guys love it when I live stream, but I can't always stream, so when I can't stream, or when I want to have a more formatted version of a stream, I'll make a podcast episode. And you guys can ask questions, and we'll answer the questions, and maybe even get sponsors and stuff like that, get better equipment going. I've also been thinking about merch, but that's stuff that we can talk about later. This is a Dragon Ball video. Anyway, regardless, hit the like button, share this video with your friends if you saw anything interesting that you'd like to tell them about, or if you just genuinely like this video and want to share it with your friends. If there are any forms that I missed, please let me know in the comments down below, as well as the next character you'd like me to deconstruct and put all their transformations up here for. Now, of course, not every character has a ton of transformations, so I might put smaller characters that don't have a lot of forms together and throw them on here. So, like if you want to request a few smaller characters, you can do that too. Like all of Krillin's transformations, plus Tien and Roshi and Yamcha. Like, that'd be a video. That'd be cool. Or they could have a ton of transformations I don't know about, and I could be killing myself right now. But, and you'll also see other characters like Frieza, Broly, Vegeta, of course. So, get hyped. This series is going to be good. And, as always, I'll see you in the next video. Eddie's my Orange Troopers, and peace!